what's the subject? Evolution or revolution, we ain't done yet. Laying flat like Sanchez, this a bomb threat. I know my flow like Angozi. Source up and show me, homie, you shut up and mute up a moment. The mad scientist, I'm knowing all the components. We own it, and we gon' off it if it's pseudo. You do know we don't entertain that keyboard judo. That big Bobby banger out of Baltimore. Done it all, shop before. Sold a little something, but I taught you more than your average teacher. I had to reach you at your level to bring you up. No devil can never beat you. With precision of a magi, the information supplied by some guys get debunked online. CK and Juju, I chill in the cut. But if you boys wanna fade, then I'm chefing you up. I organize live, the beats are disorganized, truth every time. Kudos, who those niggas? Decorated pseudo killers, space age Africans, back again. Unorganized live, the beats are disorganized, truth every time. Kudos, who those niggas? Decorated pseudo killers, space age Africans, tapping in. I always been fly, that's an actual omen. You can catch me in the sky, ask Anthony Bowman. He see me with his telescope, I was actually floating off some good kush that Savio is actually growing. See, Gullah Gullah and Kent is where the money gets spent. Them boys got some books that cost as much as you rent. The second first ship is past Rockwell, but I rock well. Underground like Sumerian Rockwells. In the ring like I'm the rock whale. Hell, create a different wave that can rock whales. Hell, shit swell like lunar tides. My entendres off Gandra to who describe. Euthanize foolish guys. Scholastically, haphazardly. Turn your camera on and look me in my eyes. And please do subscribe. 8 to 80, blind, cripple, or crazy. You in for a new surprise. It's DQ, a organized lie. The beats are disorganized, truth every time. Kudos, who those niggas? Decorated pseudo killers, space age Africans, back again. An organized lie. The beats are disorganized, truth every time. Kudos, who those niggas? Decorated pseudo killers, space age Africans, tapping in.
Yo, what's going on, man? What's happening with you out there in the land? Pseudo Killers back at you once again. You know what I mean? We trying to handle some business tonight. You know what I mean? Welcome everybody to the chat, man. Y'all come on in here, man, and gather around, man. You know, time to hear some good stuff, some good information, man. Brother Anthony got some good information to bring us. Juju, Brass, we in here. You know what I mean? But how everybody doing out there, man? See y'all in the chat. Y'all building up. Everybody coming in. What's going on with your Juju?
You already know what it is. Pseudo Killer official in the building. You can call me the Lady Killer. I'm only here to set it off. Like Queen Latifah.
And set it off you do. You
know? Yes, that's what we're here to do. Set it off.
Be intimidated when you come in the building because they already know you ain't playing no game. You look like you might be sweet with it, but you step on the scene, yo, they be shaking a little bit. They be like, "Now, how does lady talking to me like this?"
That's what it is.
Already, man. I see you in there, Anthony, man. You look like something on your chest, man. You look like you got something to, you know what I mean, like something bothering you lately, man. I ain't never seen you like this, man. What's going on with you, man? How's everything going with you?
Peace to you, fam. Peace to you, Miss my good sister, Miss Juju. Brother
what Brad. Up, my brother? Starman in the building, Space Age African #1.
Yes, indeed.
Anthony Bowman.
Peace to everybody in the chat. Appreciate y'all chiming in. But yeah, to answer your question, Kent, yes, it's a little something on my mind, dog. You know, I thought maybe, you know, we could move on past this, but we're gonna take this time to, you know, turn this into a teaching moment, dog. You know, we're gonna teach about phenomenon and, you know, retrograde.
Something about the phenomenon.
We're gonna break it down, you know, and help the people get an understanding, and maybe they can, you know, see what lane we coming from. Because I'm gonna say this: we don't do astrology,
right?
In no way, shape, form, or fashion.
No, sir. Ma'am, ham, slam,
So
none of that.
don't ever get anything that I say confused with astrology. That's my disclaimer right now, ever, because I'm coming from the scientific perspective. So anything I say from this day forward should not be confused with anything astrology. Now, if astrology is all you know, then like my brother Brad say, I think it's Brad say, your cup too full. You need to get some of that out if you want to pick up on what we putting down. You know what I'm saying? So please don't get nothing I say ever confused with astrology, because I don't do astrology at all.
Already, man. What's up with it, Brass? Yo, see you in the building, man. You ain't heard nothing what's going
Pseudo
on?
Killer Army.
Yes, indeed.
Just definitely here to support. I'm here to learn too, and I think that's the best way to always be learning. Like I was telling, we was talking about it earlier. I think rather than try to figure out where we wrong, they don't understand. They're getting the blessings of people that's actually out in the field doing it. Anthony not doing this on a PlayStation or Xbox or something. He actually out in the field. You know, he's the one. You got my son. I've known Anthony for 2 weeks, man. He got my son excited about the solar eclipse that just happened the other day. So
yes,
they should be rather than try to knock what we're doing, they should try to get in and build and learn rather than trying to do that gotcha scholarship. This ain't the channel for that. I think we need to remind people, pseudo killers and community of skeptics, we're not here for all the gotcha scholarship. Everything ain't a catchable moment. Catch the knowledge. Stop trying to be messy.
Right. Yeah, you know, to those that are, matter of fact, let me just go ahead and shout the chat real quick, man. Got Lisa in the building. What's going on with you, King Sosa? Always an honor to have you around, brother. The homie Steph, Muhammad. You know what I'm saying? We got Marcus in the building, Chalimbwe, Kyle. What's going on with you, man? Appreciate your support. Pure Black. Hey, make sure y'all hit that like button too, man.
Like and subscribe.
And subscribe if you ain't already subscribed. I know most of y'all already subscribed, so you know what I'm saying? I know we ain't worrying about that. If you ain't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that button. Chef in the building, man. I see you, man. Nice to see you back in this junk, man.
Chef friend.
Got Shango, Zane. You know what I mean? Country Hi-Fi.
Yeah, that's our UK friend.
Yes,
Hey.
indeed. Yes, indeed, man. So you know, for those that ain't abreast of what's been happening over the last week or so, you know, quick little recap, you know what I mean? Anthony was explaining retrograde moons, and a certain individual came in, you know, thinking that he knew what he was talking about, Morpheus.
Mm-hmm.
What he was talking about, basically. He didn't know what the hell he was talking about, and he got loud with it. And he didn't really get loud with it that time. He just was a little arrogant, you know what I mean? But he was wrong. You know
Just
what I'm saying? So we did a little show after that. It was wrong about phenomenon too. We did a little show after that explaining, you know, we was wrong. We let Anthony get it off his chest. Then the brother proceeded to go on Facebook and double down on his thing after admitting he was wrong. But he didn't admit he was wrong. He didn't believe he was wrong, obviously, because he went on Facebook and doubled down, which we'll show them receipts later if we need to, Morpheus. You know what I'm saying? You know what you did. But you know, so basically that's what this show is to respond to the double down. And we're gonna let Anthony rock out, man. We also got some pictures of that the eclipse. From when was that, Anthony, that you took the pictures of the eclipse?
That was the one that just happened this past Saturday.
Right.
Yeah, beautiful.
Right. So
you know,
go ahead.
I just wanted to say, so we're doing this second show because we felt that there's some confusion and we wanted to basically slow it down a bit and define some terms and go through some scientific terms. So we'll be focusing particularly on phenomena, which was the initial point of confusion from the first show. We'll be explaining, you know, what phenomenon means, because none of these definitions have one singular meaning, and that's part of the problem. So we're going to be explaining, you know, what phenomena means, what we mean when we're speaking on phenomena from a scientific point of view and what that entails. Because from the last show, there was some confusion on whether phenomena could be explained or not. We thought that we cleared that up, but it seems obviously we didn't. And moving on from phenomena, we're going to discuss a phenomenon, which is retrograde, and explain exactly what that is and in what context we as pseudo killers are speaking on retrograde as far as a scientific understanding, not a zodiac or astrological understanding. What is that? Astrology? Yeah, we're not speaking we're not speaking on retrograde in that point of view whatsoever.
Hold on, Juju. Right? You made a good point. I think by now people know pseudo killers don't rock with astrology. I think we know that by now.
Maybe they don't, so we got to make it clear.
Over the past 3 years or 4 years, however long we've been rocking, we've always been scientifically minded. We ain't never been on no astrology, no mythological stuff. So people know, especially the ones that know us, they know us. So to come in there and think we even attempting to talk astrology is just beyond me. It sounds like some secret hating going on to me, man.
Well, I mean, and then this is the thing. So one thing we have always prided ourselves on, and I think everybody, especially all the pseudo killers on this panel and Brass, part of the pseudo killer army, and Bobby Banger, we have always been an example. If we don't know, we say we don't know. And if we're wrong, we can admit when we're wrong, and we're also open to correction and for correction. And I think that's important to exhibit throughout the community. It is okay to be wrong. It is okay to say that you don't know. That doesn't make you anything less. It actually makes you more, because then you show leadership and the ability to be humble and teachable, which is something that we need to display to our children. So I think people sometimes forget we want to create these fake profiles and facades on YouTube. But see, I do community work. So I'm always standing strong on my square as far as, advocating things that are going to be beneficial to the community and our children. So that's just where I'm at with it. You know what I'm saying? I could get grimy, I can get rough and tough, but at the end of the day, that's what my work is for. So I want to be able to be on the right side of things and stand correct on that, so we don't pass down faulty information to our children. I don't know what else to tell you, but Pseudo Killers is a scientific advocacy literacy group. And if you didn't know it, we're going to hopefully today explain that and illustrate that for you. And if you continue to misunderstand, we'll just keep doing it. We have no problem with that.
Right. You know what I mean? So, like you said, if you wrong, hey man, ain't nothing wrong with being wrong. We all be wrong sometimes. Admit you was wrong and just man up and keep it moving. You know what I mean? But go ahead, Anthony. I know you had something you wanted to start with. We're gonna go ahead and get that cracking, man.
Well, yeah, I just want to say this here first. In that initial show, I talked about the retrograde of Mars. And I stated that it's an illusion. But, he kept going. So that's where we at. Now, when it comes down to the phenomenon, if y'all want to go ahead and get started, you can pull that up, Miss Juju.
Do you want me to share my screen, Kent?
Yeah, that's cool.
All right.
Yeah, I see Pure Black. Matter of fact, you already been in here. Who else? Black Alchemy got in the building. Gary, what's up? We got Vayasa in the building.
Yes, Vayasa, Zane, they're my brothers. Hey.
Man, appreciate y'all brothers, man. Rock City, New York, what's happening with you? I'm going to go ahead and add the screen real quick. All right.
So you know how we like to do it. We like to use Wiki. If you don't like Wiki, if you got a problem with Wiki, you can use Britannica, but this is an online encyclopedia, and it's pretty much going to say the same thing. And this is where you start, just like with any, And this is no way a reflection to anybody when I say certain things. I'm speaking for myself because I like to start, slow. I like to take baby steps. So for me learning, I like to start at, the very basics. And the basics is starting with defining your terms, right? Starting with definition. So we're going to deal with the definition of phenomenon. And simply put, I've already went over some of this, so I'll paraphrase a little bit, but phenomena basically has a philosophical origin. And it basically means phenomenon or phenomena, sometimes spelled phenomenon, is an observable event. The term comes into the modern philosophical usage through Immanuel Kant, who contrasted it with nomenon, which cannot be directly observed, whereas phenomenon can't. So those are the contrasts in the philosophical usage. So in common usage and popular usage, a phenomenon often refers to an extraordinary event. The term is most commonly used to refer to occurrences that at first defy explanation or baffle the observer. But then when you get to scientific or science, in scientific usage, of phenomenon is an event that is observable, including the use of instrumentation to observe, record, or compile data. Especially in physics, the study of a phenomenon may be described as measurements related to matter, energy, or time, such as Isaac Newton's observation of the moon's orbit and of gravity, or Galileo's observation of the motion of the pendulum. In natural sciences, a phenomenon is an observable happening or event. Often this term is used without considering the causes of a particular event. Example of a physical phenomenon is an observable phenomenon of the lunar orbit or the phenomenon of oscillations of a pendulum. And it goes on pretty much, but that is phenomenon in its scientific term. But I gave it to you with this philosophical usage and its common usage, which is pretty much the same, an observable event.
Yeah, this is like in science, like a rainbow. A rainbow is a sign, is a phenomenon that can be explained. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's happening. Like at first, first humans didn't know what was making it happen, but in science today, we can clearly explain what a rainbow is and how it works.
Right, we definitely can, and the thing about it, it was said that a phenomenon was only something that can be explained. Like, we don't know that there are phenomenons that can't be explained. Brother Morpheus, like, what are you attempting to prove by posting these links that we agree with? Like, you can listen to the YouTube clowns or the experts. Nigga, we agree with that link. What are you talking about, brother?
It was stated in that day. It was addressed that day when he was talking about the retrograde of Mars of a planet. It was addressed that day. That's not what we were talking about. What we were talking about was a moon, and that was stated several times. You know what I'm saying? So the actual moon we were speaking on, that whole process, or whatever you want to label it as, is a phenomenon.
Yeah, I was about to say the whole phenomenon itself is a phenomenon.
He must have heard the LL Cool J song when we was up here.
But something like a phenomenon.
How many times have we talked about dark energy that can't be explained?
And that's the phenomenon.
It is
dark energy itself. That's considered a phenomenon that can't be explained. Just for the audience.
Dark matter. It's called dark matter. We don't know fully what it is.
But we know the effect. We can observe the effects of it.
Facts.
But they don't know what it is, dog. It can't be explained. It's a phenomenon.
Unexplained phenomenon.
that can't be explained. We know that. We rock with that. You know, we get that. But what he went wrong is doubling down on it, because we never said that. You know, if I'm not mistaken, y'all can go back and listen to the video from that Saturday. I believe it was Sosa telling him, or trying to tell him, that the phenomenon at first, no, we don't have an explanation for, you know, certain phenomenon. But as time goes on and we get better tools, some of those phenomenon can be explained. If I'm not mistaken, Sosa went through that with him. You know what I'm saying?
The problem. So, go ahead, my bad. Go ahead.
I don't understand. I mean, it must be, what's the motive behind it, dog? Why you want to go on Facebook with all this here? You want to take it to another street? You know, we beat you down on this street, so now you want to move the fight to another street. You know, why? I mean, it was a good conversation going on, you know, and you just had me baffled. I mean, what is up with this? What's the motivation behind this? You know what I'm saying? So y'all just know and understand that the pseudo killers do not agree with where he coming from. We understand that there are natural phenomena that can be explained and can't be explained.
Facts.
We understand that.
Yeah, he pulled up on the wrong damn street. He pulled up on Parkway Garden. He came on O Block.
Listen,
playing over here.
like I just didn't. It confused me because I'm like, does he know what does he understand what we're trying to say? Like, first of all, you had the definition of phenomenon wrong, because you said it was something that can't be explained. We killed that when we said phenomenons. There are phenomenons that can be explained, but we never said there were no unexplained phenomenons. Like, that's listening comprehension skills. Is that what I'm missing here? Like, I don't. Anyway.
What's the phenomenon?
We're very aware that a lot of people, and we all have to be careful, but we tend to listen to respond instead of listening to understand. So, I mean, and this is why we're here, to stop it, take it slow, and, you know, try to explain everything. So we've just explained what phenomena is, observable events, and we just explained that some of these phenomenons can be explained and some can't. And now we're going to move into, sooner or later, get into a particular type of phenomenon, and that is retrograde.
Right.
But
I wanted to play the video just so we can just give context to what we know, just in case people ain't seen the last show or two.
Go on.
Give them where we coming from with it, you know. And why his name is in
What's
the title.
What's a phenomenon?
I don't know. You have to look in the dictionary for that.
No, but you use it. You said phenomenon. You use the term. You don't know what it means.
Well, a phenomenon is something that defies what we call the norm.
It's not in the norm, whatever that is, whatever the norm is.
No,
so
a phenomenon is something that we can't explain. It's unexplainable.
Hold on, pause there right there. A phenomenon is something that can't be explained. It's unexplainable. Is that all it is? That's all it is, Morpheus. It's just something that can't be explained. I ain't hear you say there are phenomenons that could be explained, but let's play that back.
Phenomenon is something that we can't explain. It's unexplainable. But yet, you guys are trying to explain.
Okay. But yet, you guys are trying to explain. Huh? Where'd that come from?
It's unexplainable. But yet, you guys are trying to explain something that you just admitted is unexplainable.
Well, I'm just telling you, I'm giving you the evidence. That's what I'm telling you. I'm giving you the evidence for it.
But I'm with you with that. But the other brother, you talk about phenomenons. And then right after we call it a phenomenon, then we seek to go further to try to explain the thing that you just said is unexplainable.
So he puts the word phenomenon right there equal with unexplainable. We see where you're at. We see where your head at, Morpheus. You think you tried to come back on the last show and sneak and say something. Oh, I meant this, I meant that. No, we know what you meant, brother, because you said it. We got you on tape. We got the tape. We rolling the footage. You know what I'm saying? But
and let's clear that up. So pseudo killers isn't trying to explain anything themselves. Like, we are comfortable to say that we are not the experts when it comes to any type of, scientific concentration. But what we do is we do relay the information from the experts concerning scientific phenomena or whatever. So that's what we're doing. We're just relaying to you the data that's, widely and freely available to any and everyone who's willing to look hard enough for it, on scientific events and things of that nature. So let's make that clear. So it's not us, we're just relaying to the layman what we have learned, what we follow, what we study, as far as what the experts in that field, as far as the consensus, are saying on said subject matter.
Thanks. Any thoughts?
Yeah, that's a good point there, Miss Juju. I mean, everybody need to understand we are dealing with, when you see the pseudo killers, we're dealing with science. Not nothing we say in our minds can be equal to anything else. It's just bringing what the experts are saying, period. I've said it a million times, and I'm going to continue to say it. I am not an expert, but I can lead you to the experts. That's the best I can do.
And you've spoken to one.
Yeah, and have had personal conversations with
right.
experts. So it's not my information. All I can do is try to help you understand what I do the way that I understand it. That's it. I'm not, I think I said this in the last show, I'm not special. I'm not blessed. The Most High didn't come down and put his finger on my head or none of that. I just read, period. And I do a pretty good job of comprehending what I read and trying to relay that in the simplest fashion that I can, the way that I understand it. That's it. Nothing more. So please don't think I know everything, because that is a damn lie. But I know and understand that. You know what I'm saying? But it's a lot of things about astronomy that I do know that most people don't, but it's because that's where my interests lie. Just like, shit, Unc know 10,000 times more than what I know about evolution. That's his lane. So why am I gonna get in his lane trying to challenge him on some information that he bringing me from some experts? That don't make sense. You know what I'm saying? In my world, that's crazy. So I'm gonna sit back and listen and try to get caught up and get on his level in that subject. So it's the same way. When it
get caught up, get on level.
And that's it. Trying to level up. That's all, that's what it should be about. This information should be about that. But the personal attacks and emotional rants and all that, man, that's uncalled for.
Right. And like you said, people like to say, "Oh, y'all think y'all know everything." We're admitting right here and now, we don't know everything.
You're not.
Anthony don't, I don't, Juju don't, Braz don't, Gullah don't, Unc don't. Nobody in the pseudo killers feel like we know everything, right? The thing is, that's the pseudo tactic, because when we say we don't know everything, then they play the "I got you" moment. Oh, you don't know what the definition is. You don't know what you don't know the definition of that. Oh, everything you say is bullshit now. We call that quizumship when a pseudo goes and asks you what a definition of a word is out the blue sky, catch you completely off guard, and it might throw you off a little bit. I don't know it off the top of my head. He don't know. He don't know what it is. That's a pseudo tactic. Polite used to do it all the time.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Now Morpheus doing it, but we're gonna move on. Retrograde.
That's a crazy connection, Ken. But in this community where everybody talk about, sometimes I feel like we don't exist within this community sometimes, because they throw around these catchwords. So what they expect, you know, they following all these people that gave themselves the title of master teacher, and I'm a master teacher, and I'm an elder, or I'm a doctor. So you think you going to them for extreme knowledge and extreme explanation. But the problem is, well, the challenge is sometimes when they log on to YouTube, they log on to the wrong show. Just because these panels look the same and we sit here talking and you recognize some of the names, we're not about gotcha scholarship. We're not on here trying to catch each other or oh no, you spelled the wrong, so define the. You know, like that makes no sense. That makes no sense whatsoever. And it sounds, to a weak brain, it sounds personal. You know what I mean? But it sounds intelligent to a weak brain, to a brain that's trying to learn or trying to catch something. You can catch stuff like that. Like when he said, he didn't say Anthony said it. He said y'all guys are trying to. So these are little tells. That's what I do every single day. I pay attention to small words, because you can slip in small words to tell me what you really on here for. He wasn't on there to learn. And sometimes being an elder, their cups is overfull. So they're not trying to learn. They just I'm trying to come on the show and be Morpheus. Like, right. Morpheus is a dude from the Matrix, period. That's Lawrence or Larry Fishburne.
Well, I did just find out he was in the High Tops or something like that, right? So
tender love, tender
hey, we might get a copyright strike to keep singing that
song. Baby, come
close to be me. I wanted to add this in here. We talked about it earlier. Einstein even said it. You know, never memorize something that you could look up. He didn't walk around just memorizing terms. He was a genius of his day, right?
Say that. Say it one more time, Ken. Come on with it.
Albert Einstein was a genius in his day.
And he said, what again?
He said, never memorize something that you can look up.
Hello?
He even told, like, yo, I don't walk around with just terms just stored in my head. Like, you know, or formulas and data and all of that. Like, nah, I know how it works. I know about these things, but if you're going to judge a person based off of what they can just hey, what is that? Quick. And they don't get it. And then you're going to judge their whole, even if the science is right, you're going to judge their whole memory of that moment off of that. You know, the validity of their words or whatever. All right, you know, but that's a pseudo game, yo. We don't play pseudo games around here, man. Come on, Morpheus. You know better than that, dog.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but anyway, man.
So we ready for the phenomenon? Oh, go ahead, Anthony.
Yeah, I was just about to say, Miss Juju, you can get into that.
Okay, so we ready. We ready to discuss the phenomenon retrograde. We gonna get into it.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Let me. I'm just gonna, I'm the definition queen, so we're just gonna, read a few little definitions. So to preface what I'm going to read here for you today, we are dealing with retrograde. The first contention of the conversation had to do with phenomenon, whether phenomenon could be, explained or not, right? And now we're dealing with a type of phenomenon, a particular phenomenon, and this is retrograde. Now, this one gets confusing. And if you see, of course, it's, again, wicked for you. So feel free to look it up yourselves on your phone or any of your devices, computer, laptop, or whatnot. And there's quite a bit. So retrograde is also another interesting concept. You have retrograde that's used in a astrological sense. You have retrograde that's used in a scientific sense, but even in a scientific sense has different definitions. So I'm going to start with giving you the etymology of retrograde. So the term retrograde is from the Latin word retrogradus, which means backward step. Retro meaning backwards and gradus meaning step. Retrograde is most commonly an adjective used to describe the path of a planet as it travels through the night sky with respect to the zodiac stars and other bodies of the celestial canopy. In this context, the term refers to planets refers to planets as they appear from Earth, stopping briefly and reversing direction at a certain time. Though in reality, of course, we now understand that they perpetually orbit the same uniform direction. So this is telling you that retrograde is somewhat, simply in this context, is a phenomenon in which you have two bodies, right? And one body may be orbiting at a different rate or speed than the other body. And because of that, it looks like the slower body may stop and also move backwards because of the orbit of the initial body. So that is a type of retrograde. The retrograde which Anthony was speaking on is a little bit different. But I also wanted to give you all, guys, a little bit of perspective on retrograde also. And this is all in the wiki article. But it also goes to explain that this phenomena comes out of when, those, how shall I say, proto-scientists back in the day, even before Copernicus, had this notion that the Earth was the center of the universe. Retrograde, that phenomenon came out of that. So it was almost an accident or mistake. And when they realized that it was somewhat of an illusion and not really happening, they still use the term though. Another important piece in this, and you can read it in here. I'm just showing you where you can go. I'm not going to read everything. I'm not going to do readership for you today. Is also, we get the naming of the planets. When it says the apparent retrogradation puzzled ancient astronomers, and was one reason they named these bodies planets in the first place. Planets comes from the Greek word wonder. In the geocentric model of the solar system proposed by Apollonius in the 3rd century BCE, retrograde motion was explained by having the planets travel in difference and epicycles. It was not understood to be an illusion until the time of Copernicus, although the Greek astronomer Astracus in 240 BCE proposed a heliocentric model for the solar system. So I thought that was some real interesting information as far as where retrograde come from, what it came from. It actually was somewhat of a mistake. And when they realized the mistake, they still use the term, though, to explain certain scientific phenomena. And so what Anthony is going to be talking about now is not so much this type of retrograde. We're not going to be discussing the so-called illusion of the orbits, but he's actually going to be speaking on a real scientific phenomena of retrograde when it comes to the orbit of a moon of another planet, a particular moon of another planet.
Okay, I appreciate that, Miss Juju. Well done. Yeah, what we were speaking on is the moon Triton, and everybody can look this up as we speak about it. It's the largest moon of Neptune, and that particular moon is orbiting Neptune in the opposite direction of all of its other natural moons. So that is the phenomenon, that it's orbiting in the opposite direction. Now, you can look into the spacecraft Voyager 2, which did a flyby of all the gas giants in our solar system on its way out of the solar system. And Triton was recorded. You know what I'm saying? But the phenomenon itself was first discovered a few years after Neptune itself was discovered. So this goes way back. So we know for a fact that this moon is in retrograde orbit. That's what they call it, retrograde orbit. So, and that whole process there is a phenomenon because the moon is in retrograde orbit. It's out of the norm. It's not doing what all the other moons are doing. So it's doing its own thing, Now, how that happened, we don't know, but it happened. Now, they use computer simulations. You know, they put in, you know, their calculations and the present position, you know, past positions where it's been recorded, and that's they load that up into a computer, and they give you so many different ways. You know, they run it so many different times until they can get what they're actually observing. So we have evidence, observable evidence, you know what I'm saying, that this is actually happening. So that in itself, that retrograde orbit of that moon in itself is a phenomenon. Now, when it comes down to some explainable ones, you know, we got that as well. That article, we got an article that explains this past eclipse, you know, which has nothing to do with, you know, retrograde, but it's an explainable phenomenon. And we have pictures of that eclipse that just happened Saturday. But when we were talking in that conversation, we were talking about the moon Triton. And like I said, I want everybody to look it up. And if I got something wrong, let's talk about it. But that's what you're going to find. And we got the clips of the scientists saying it, that that moon and that whole process of retrograde orbit is a phenomenon. Now, I'm not explaining it. All I'm doing is telling you what they're saying. So I'm not the one trying to explain it. It's not my work.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Once again, I'm an enthusiast. All I can do is lead you to the scientists. And this is the best way I know how. Let you hear it from their mouths and let you read it for yourself. Because I'm not the only one with this information. That ain't how we rock in the pseudo killers. It ain't one person. Y'all hear Unc say it all the time. It ain't one person. We throw ideas off of each other and we use sources. That's what we do. We're going to lead you to the scientists. And that's what I'm trying to do now. So when it comes down to the phenomenon of retrograde orbit, you got it all right here. I don't do astrology, so don't ever get me mixed up with trying to say anything I say is astrology. Don't do it. I don't do astrology.
Yeah, but you explain. Matter of fact, if y'all got the link for that, can y'all put it in the chat so that they can go ahead and look that up and see that, you know, it's a real thing, right? But you explained that in the earlier show, right? About the you was talking about the moon Triton and its retrograde orbit during that same show, right?
Yeah, and that's what he had a problem with, because he thought, or he claimed, that everybody was gonna think that I'm talking about a planet changing directions. Nobody ever said that. Nobody ever alluded to that. I was very clear in what we was talking about. It is a moon that is orbiting in the opposite direction of the other moons around Neptune. So nobody ever said anything about a planet changing directions. Never, ever.
It's listening comprehension skills at the end of the day, man, because who said anything about Mercury? It's funny watching the pseudo kings talk about retrograde like it's real. Take my advice. Listen to the experts explain retrograde as an illusion. What show was you watching, Morpheus? What?
You gonna get daggered by your source, Morpheus. You better stop, tender love.
What show was you watching?
Love.
I'm just we didn't look at that video.
And so that's the show that we doing now. Because you called us the pseudo king, so it's only right we fire some shots back.
Pow, 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 pow. Pow, 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 pow.
Like, I don't get it, man. You know what I mean? But like I say, man, when you come on our show, man, just make sure you talking about the right shit.
Right.
That you've been paying attention. Don't come on here thinking, oh, they talking about and then just jump on here and be loud and wrong because it
We
makes
not going no retrograde. We don't know nothing about that. Y'all gonna have to go to a psychic or somebody who deal with that. We don't deal with that.
I guarantee you go back to that show. Anthony ain't mentioned a damn planet.
No.
About no damn retrograde. About no planetary retro. Like, come on, man. So yeah. Anyway, man.
And that's what happens a lot of times when people come on the panels. They be so interested in trying to catch us or try to like spot us being wrong, and it's so exact what Space Age African Anthony Bowman said, because when we talk to each other, it's amazing. It's so much fun sitting around talking when we talk to each other, because we're talking from source material that we understand. But a lot of times when people get on the panel, they start bringing up stuff and they die at their own source. They'll be trying to explain to us how they're right based on this source, and the source is proving us right. And just for everybody so they know, we are talking about Morpheus, but when you go out into the public, see, and you loud and wrong, and then you double down the next day and go into a public forum, and you loud and wrong again, and you start throwing ad homs and all of that, we don't play those games, but when you wrong, you can't admit you wrong quietly and then just go back to being Lawrence Fishburne from The Matrix publicly. You got to actually make up for that. Your private apology needs to be just as loud as your ignorance on that show. I land my plane.
Yeah, man, I'm with you on that, man. Like I say, man, Unc always say, right? He said, watch the hats, man. And they come on here with the funny hat. The wrong show to come on with the funny hat, Morpheus. And be loud and wrong, brother. So we just gonna end it off like that. We ain't gonna, you know what I'm saying? We touched you up a little bit. We ain't really get you how we could have got you, but we gonna let that, we gonna let that sit right there and just, let that marinate with the people, man. I think Anthony got some photos of the eclipse. Matter of fact, did you send that to me? Matter of fact, yeah, you did.
Yeah, and you could pull that article up too, because it's referring to that same eclipse, dog.
Let me see. The Astronomy Club? No, not that one.
I just sent it to you a little while ago with them with the pictures.
Okay, the pictures are in the Astronomy Club, right?
No, I sent them in the chat.
All right. I think you sent
in our iPhone text.
All right, bet. I'm gonna try to pull those up real quick. But any go ahead.
But all that article is doing is just explaining the eclipse, and it also refers to it as a phenomenon, an explained phenomenon. But what they do in it, man, is they got a globe with a flashlight. If y'all remember when we was doing the flat earth stuff, I did that demonstration with the flashlight and the globe, to show all the different seasons, everything. But it's basically the same thing, but they just added the moon to it to show you, not only explain it to you, but to show you how it's happening. And it is referred to as a phenomenon. So that's not me. And this isn't comes from, I think it's a astronomy center in Orlando, Florida, I believe. But it's real easy.
It's Orlando Science Center or something.
Yeah, I think it's something like that. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head, but it's stated in the article. But they show you how you can replicate this. That's when you know you got good science, because it can be replicated. All you need is a flashlight, a globe, and maybe a golf ball. Something smaller than the globe.
It's the Orlando Science Center, and they have a website.
Yeah, you can replicate this phenomenon as you explain it, and you can observe it, because we know that because it's been in the news all year long leading up to this day. To that day. You know what I'm saying? So They speak on how it's easy, it's free. All you got to do is show up for these kind of astronomical events that's taking place. All you got to do is show up. They got everything set up for you to be able to observe it for yourself. You can do this. You can do these things yourself. You don't have to take my word for it. You don't have to believe the pictures that I show. You can go and observe these things for yourself. And that's what I'm promoting. You know what I'm saying?
I did this in a high school physics class. I did this.
Yeah, serious shit. That's why I learned it at go look shit in elementary school, junior high school.
So we can say this though, honestly. So if people did miss that in their high school physics class or didn't get the opportunity, most major cities or even most small towns who are near major cities, they have a museum of arts and science. I know in Daytona, we're small. So our arts and science museum is all together, but you have Orlando Science Center, Jacksonville has a science center. It doesn't take but a few minutes to look up if you have some type of planetarium or science center, near you. And for your children, this is like my advice to give, and you can check their schedules. And what I do know is a lot of them are funded, right? So if you are, on hard times, which many people are, and no need to, admit that I'm public, but that's your personal business. If you receive food stamps or any type of assistance, a lot of times these places will have a day. I know in Daytona, it's on Tuesdays. If you have a food stamp card or anything on Tuesdays, you can get in free with your family to the planetarium, to the museum, so there's no excuses. And anytime there's some sort of like celestial event, sort of like this eclipse or the green comet that just not too long ago passed by us or whatnot, these science centers put on exhibits and they have shows and they have all types of, you know, free lessons on all things that have to do with that particular type of phenomenon. So there's definitely resources. You just have to be willing to look and step outside your comfort zone, but not for you as an adult, but if you have children or if you know children, like that's how you can best serve the children in your community or around you. Put them onto that. That's how you spark their interest of becoming something greater than what they are used to seeing or normally see, if that's the case. You get what I'm saying? Because, that's what we're here for. We're trying to cultivate and, raise up our next future, theoretical physicists, engineers, scientists, astronomers. You get what I'm saying? This is what we're doing, and this is what we're doing now. And not to be too long, but I hope that you and the audience did get something out of this, Pseudo Killer broadcast, as far as understanding the difference in, between observable phenomena and whether it can be explained or not. Hope we answer that question for you. I also hope we answer the question what retrograde is and different types of retrograde and the particular retrograde that we were talking about concerning the movement of a planet's moon, versus the other types, which may be considered an illusion. So thank you for your time, though.
Yes, indeed. This is the website you was talking about too, right?
Yeah, Orlando Science Center.
Yeah, that's it right there. But look at that title, Kent. Look at the title.
Mm-hmm. Orlando Science Center hosts annular solar eclipse watch party. Explains
phenomenon. Something like a phenomenon.
But
are you watching Morpheus? Like
it's actually deeper than that. Like I say, they actually, give you a demonstration of it. You know what I'm saying? How it happens. So I hope the brother understand that we understand that there are some unexplained phenomena such as dark energy, dark matter, you know what I'm saying? And there are some explained phenomena such as retrograde orbit and eclipses. Those are explained phenomena. You know what I'm saying? So there is a difference, and we understand that. We know that. We've been saying that since the first conversation. So, I mean, I don't know what else to say or do to get the brother to understand that, but that's where I'm at with it. You know, I hope this is a dead subject. This topic, all this here is done. I hope.
Mm-hmm.
But if we need to continue, we can. But I mean, I ain't got nothing else for the brother, man. I ain't got nothing else for him.
And I think we've we've heard from, people that he admitted he was wrong. You know what I'm saying? We just we hear that. But don't leave the other stuff out there and not come back and say, hey, yeah, I was wrong about that. Them guys was right. They not pseudo. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna leave it at that, man. We're gonna give you 24 hours, man.
24 hours to respond, or we're coming in with the nukes. No, I'm just kidding.
24 hours.
Tender love.
And
love so tender.
You killing me with that, Juju.
We hope y'all have a great night, man.
Yo.
Oh, matter of fact, my bad. I ain't even do the any last words, Juju?
Tender love. Love so.
She is wild. What you say? I know you said he was in some group. What is it? The
Hot Tops.
Force MDs, wasn't
it? No, I don't know. Yeah,
I gave y'all the song. Y'all gotta go research it.
That's all we.
I know the song, but I know he was like, wasn't he like the sixth man or something? The dude came up with that.
Stop.
He's a backup dancer.
I'm gonna leave that alone.
Any last words?
We love you, Morpheus. You was just dead wrong. You got to answer for it, G.
I'm just messing with you, Morpheus.
Yep. Any last words, Brass? That's all you wanted to say?
No, I think Anthony, like I said to you earlier, we're gonna run into these kinds of things because in the real world, scientists don't sit down with just everybody and have conversations because they know it won't work out. So we're gonna run into this kind of thing all the time. You know, even the other day, I think we was Unc was doing the show, and the guy was like really arguing hard for evolution about a book. It was something about evolution. I think it was Charles Darwin's book on evolution. And we sitting here for 20 minutes talking, and something clicked, and we said, "Wait a minute, you didn't even read the book." And he was like, "Nah, I read the title though."
Read the title.
And that's the kind of stuff that we got to deal with. You know what I mean? We talking about people who done read multiple books on the subject, and you're gonna come in and try to tell us we wrong off you didn't get past the title.
Man.
So that's the kind of stuff we got to deal with. But Anthony, keep getting out there, man. You are affecting people, man. Like I told you, my son, we went and saw the solar eclipse, and it was simply because of you, bro. So just keep doing what you're doing. This ain't even a bump in the road. You know what I mean? But
I appreciate it, bro. That's all I want, man. That's it. Just give me one. You know. But I want you to be serious about it. You know what I'm saying? Please, y'all hear me? And I'm gonna say this one more time. Please don't associate anything I say with astrology.
Wait, PK.
Don't do it because you're gonna be all wrong. I don't deal with astrology at all. So
my bad. I don't mean to cut you off. And this is Anthony's work. Like he's out in the field doing this type of stuff. Like we showed you last show, the galaxies and all of that stuff. He took pictures of. So if y'all ain't seen it, go back near the end. I think but so this catalog. But go ahead, Anthony. I didn't mean to cut you off, brother.
And these pictures are of the eclipse that took place Saturday. Now it's dark like that because I'm using a telescope with a solar filter on it. The solar filter, you have to have that when you're dealing with the sun. It's a must, especially if you're looking through a telescope. Because if you try to look at the sun without a solar filter, you're gonna burn your retina and you're done. You know what I'm saying? It can't be reversed. Once you burn it, you can't see. So please hear me and hear me. Do not look at the sun through a telescope without a solar filter. But this is what it's gonna look like, because it's blocking out all the harmful ultraviolet rays that will burn your retina. So that's why it looks dark like that. But, you know, that's the only way you can actually physically look at the sun through a telescope. But the first picture he showed was the beginning of the eclipse. This was middle, you know, midway through it. And then I got another one where it was, you know, just about over. But those are pictures that I took.
Was it this one?
Yeah, that one. Okay. It's just about over. You know what I'm saying? I didn't do a video of it because it would just, you know, it'll take too long.
Right.
But I got, you know, I got it in 3 different phases: the beginning, the middle, and the end. So that's the moon moving across the sun. And for some people, you know, you look at calendars, or if you use a farmer's almanac, that's what's referred to as new moon. You know what I'm saying? So that's them few days out the month where you don't see the moon. You can't see the moon. And the reason why you can't see it at day or night is because it's so close in its orbit to the sun. So it's there, but you just can't see it because the brightness of the sun, you know, it'll hurt your eyes. Now, it doesn't always come across the sun in a manner where we get an eclipse. You know, eclipses are rare. You know, it doesn't happen every month. And that's because the moon doesn't orbit the earth on the equatorial plane. You know what I'm saying? That's the plane that all the other planets orbit. It doesn't orbit. It's off tilted a little bit. So that's what makes it a rare phenomenon. The eclipse itself is because the moon doesn't always line up like that. Now we're gonna have a total solar eclipse coming up in April of next year, and that's gonna be the total eclipse is when the moon is gonna pass by the sun just like that, but it's gonna be on that perfect angle, and then at a distance from the earth where it will completely block out the sun. The one we just had Saturday, which is called an annular eclipse, it's basically the same thing, but the moon is farther away from the earth in its orbit, so it doesn't completely block out the sun. And you get what they call that ring of fire.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the difference in the annular eclipse and the total solar eclipse. Now, the lunar eclipses are the ones that you see at night. That's when the earth passes in, you know, the moon is on the opposite side of the earth from the sun. That's, you know, those are your lunar eclipses because the earth is blocking out the moon. So the moon, which is referred to as lunar, that's what, you know, that's how we get the lunar eclipse. But what happened Saturday was an annular solar eclipse. And that's because the moon is eclipsing the sun. It's in between the earth and the sun. It's casting a shadow on the earth in the daytime. You know what I'm saying? And if you in that path, you will see a total eclipse. I didn't get the ring of fire because I wasn't in that path of the moon's shadow. So that's why mine is, you know, it's going across, you know, it's not going across the sun in, you know, the center, you know what I'm saying? So I couldn't get the actual ring of fire. You have to be in the path. So that's hopefully, you know, that was explained, you know, in a simple enough way. That's the way I know it. You know what I'm saying? But y'all can look into that. Look up everything I said. Check out the angular solar eclipse, the difference between the angular solar eclipse and the total solar eclipse. You know, just look it up. You know, it's like I say, it's not my information. So I ain't trying to hold it from nobody. I'm trying to give it to everybody. You don't have to be initiated or none of that. All you got to do is just look it up, and it's there.
Already, and you know we got you got the space age. What's the astronomy club name one more time?
The Space
Age
Age
African Astronomy Club. You better get on it.
Hey, it's about to go down. I'm telling you, yo, we got a lot of things in store coming for y'all, man, in the future, very soon. And we just, thank y'all for staying tuned with us, man. Anthony, we definitely appreciate you, brother, and all the work that you're doing and bringing to the panel, bringing to the platform, bringing to the organization, and everybody at Juju, Brass, Gullah. Appreciate y'all coming on, man. I want to shout out some people in the chat real quick, man, that joined a little late. I didn't really get to shout them out. I see Fatane was in the building, man. That good guy was in the building.
Always supporting.
Zoo 221, Lakeisha Dunn. Man, I saw Corey in that joint. What's up, boy? I see you, boy. I know that's one of your favorite subjects, man. So, Miss Tiffany, appreciate you always. That good guy. You know what I mean? And if I missed anybody else, man, forgive me, man. We'll get you on the next one or whatever. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and
let me do one more thing before you go out, Kent.
I'm start the music now. Make it quick.
One more thing, so
No, you good. Go ahead.
Let's be on some stuff, right? So if y'all interested in some books that we may be reading on right now, I'm gonna give you like 3 little good quick ones. The first one's gonna be Behave by Robert Sapolsky. The second one is The War on Science by Sean Lawrence Odo. And the third one, and one we're going to be discussing on, we have been discussing on, is 7.5 Lessons About the Brain by Lisa Feldman Barrett. So get on those books, hit up the Audible, hit up your library, do what you got to do, but get your face in them books, people. We out of here.
Oh, indeed. Criminal Contact, I see you, boy. What's up, Ronald Perkins? Hey, and be in tune Saturday, man. We getting back on that brain. You know what I'm saying? We gonna drop it. But man, peace to everybody, man. We out.